All right, it is 29th of June, Monday, and we've got championship series or limited time series, and this is for Ford GT Le Mans from last year, as you can see here, where these cars drove like a fun car, let's say, unlike the one we have in the new one that we have in the current version. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking, but yeah. So I think we're gonna have two of these GTE cars limited time series from last year in the current version, actually. So the first one that we got here is this one, Ford GT Le Mans. And after this one, we're gonna have one for the Ferrari 488 GTE Evo from the same, 2019, basically. The cost is exactly the same. The payout is exactly the same, even though the Ferrari does have a 0.1 PR point higher as a base stat, and that kind of carries on throughout the upgrade tree. So between two cars, I don't think there really is going to be significant enough difference because it's not like you can skip an upgrade by going with one car versus the other. You're still gonna need to spend just as much to both win the car if you don't have it in your garage already, or to get further ahead in the 2019 season of the Endurance GT Racing series. So yeah, it's, like, pick whichever one you prefer. If you're Team Ford, well, you go with this guy. If you're Team Ferrari, you go with the 488 GT. If you're undecided, and if you can afford both, you go for both. And so this one is going to run through the 5th of July, Sunday, for those of you guys in the Eastern Hemisphere. And for those of us on the Western Hemisphere, it'll be the Saturday, 4th of July. So for those in US of A, plan your day. If you're planning on running this, don't try to squeeze this on the 4th of July. Do something, with your family or something. It's a special day. Anyway, PR required. So this, by the way, is depending on how you play this game in the past. If you have this car, you might remember this car was one of the cars that you could have won with either race day event or the limited time series. And PR requirement were the same, so it didn't really make much difference either way. Race day generally a little bit shorter, right? Because you don't have as many events to run than the limited time series, which is always 15 tiers, 45 events that you have to win. A little bit more on the grinder side of things, right? So compared to last time we won this car, as it's often the case, the second rendition, second chance to win this car, the PR requirement is bumped up a little bit higher. This time it is 90. And to get there, you're gonna need basically max out engine and get 3 upgrades across the rest of the categories. And this car, even though it is in motorsports category, because it is sort of a legacy format from last year, it does have 7 categories. And no, it does not use motorsport dollars to upgrade or to purchase. It is still done with good old racing dollars and gold. 520 gold to be exact, to reach the PR 90 on this car, and some 3,176,600 racing dollars. And remember, the racing dollar upgrades can take up to 2 days. Well, you're gonna have the full 2-day upgrade on this car. So to get the PR requirement met, it'll take, if you didn't watch any ads, didn't speed up the upgrade process, it'll take 3 days and 12 hours for all the upgrades to be done. So yeah, service time 3 hours, as most of these cars are. And the performance rating for the Ford GT Le Mans goes from base 79.1 all the way up to 92.2. And let's see, what else do we need to talk about? On this event, yes, there's 85 gold reward. So obviously, your net cost is less than 520 gold. And of course, you can run the car in the 2019 season of Endurance GT, and you should be able to complete with the PR 90, you should be able to complete 75%. Actually, you're going to be pretty far, because to complete the 2019 season, you need 90.8. So you're going to need to max out body, I think, to reach that PR requirement. So I think that's another 110 gold added on top of that. But, without getting any more upgrades than necessary, you should still be able to claim 75% completion reward, which is going to be 44 gold. So, that's not for nothing, right? And let's see. So if you want to go ahead and get both, win both Ford and Ferrari, it will cost you, about, I guess, 1,040 gold total. 520 per each car, right? And remember, the Motorsport Series, you don't need both cars. You only need one car, because there are no showcase tiers. So, and I mean, generally, it is always cheaper to go with these, winning these cars, instead of, like, even with the really good discount deals, like 50% discount, you get the car without any upgrades, which means the usage is pretty limited. So you're gonna have to get the upgrades, and upgrade is where they really get you in this game. So if you can afford it, and if you want the car, I would say, seize the opportunity during the limited time series. Otherwise, it's not the end of the world. I'm sure we'll have other opportunities to win these cars in the future. If not the reiteration of these events, then you'll see them in Events Archive. I think all the events in the Events Archive, the gold rewards are taken away. So you'll be missing out on, like, I guess, some 85 gold. But, when you're spending 520 gold, there's 85. Yeah, I mean, I guess they all add up. So point being, if you miss out this time, it's fine. You don't need all the cars. So anyway, let's check in. Enough of me kind of talking about the... Oh, look at that. Survey. They want me to take a survey. No, we'll do that another time. But here we go. 2019 Ford GT Le Mans Championship. Earn a 2019 Ford GT Le Mans by 100% completing this special limited time series. Since its return and triumphant victory in the 2016 24 Hours of Le Mans, the GT has proven to be a consistently formidable competitor on the track. Right. So, in 2019 season of Endurance GT, by the way, you got your, obviously, Porsche 911 RSR. That doesn't suck like this year's. In fact, 2019 911 the RSR was the best. It had the incredible grip, really good acceleration, highest top speed, bar none. We had 911 RSR in the game from the beginning, from year 2013, right? Every year we had one. And it's been, gradually getting faster and better. That is till this year. I mean, 2020, there's so many things that got messed up. Apparently, 911 RSR took a toll with this year too. So I guess you can think of it as the casualty of 2020 is 911 RSR. All right. But anyway, the cars featured in 2019 season, you got the Porsche, right? You got this Ford GT Le Mans, and as I mentioned, Ferrari 488 GT Evo, and you got the 2018 Aston Martin Vantage GTE. So that is what? How many cars is that? Porsche, Ford, Aston Martin, Ferrari. So 4 cars in the season. Any of the upgrade cost is fairly comparable, if I remember correctly. And yeah, so there you have it. I have the entire playthrough of that season on my channel, so I'll put the link to that playthrough of the season in the description box below, and you guys can check it out if you want. And as always, all the relevant information related to the upgrade cost, rewards, things like that, you can find it in the description of every single playthrough video of this event. At least that's what I try to do. So, alright, so for this one, 15 tiers, 45 events as always, right? 42 trophies necessary to unlock this final tier 15. And here, let's check out the breakdown of the reward. They said 85 gold total, right? So if you already have won this car from last year and haven't upgraded, then your PR should be like 89-ish, I want to say, which should be able to get you complete 75% here. So you should be able to win some what is that, 51 gold. So that's 51 free gold to be had, so that's not too bad, you know, when you combine it with what I would consider free gold that we won through the Formula E event and the free gold that we won through the 2020 season. Well, not the 2020 season, but the race day event that we had with the aforementioned 2020 GTE car of your choice. Anyway, so let's use the gold and complete the event right away so we can confirm the PR requirement, and let's have a quick overview of the limited time series that we got here. So there we go, and we'll look at that. I got already 7 upgrades on this car. How did that happen? I must have gotten those first tier racing dollar upgrades on this car already. So the base PR for this car, as I said, is 79.2, and looks like the set of first tier upgrades, 7 upgrades, gets your PR up to 82.5. And the tier 1 racing dollar upgrades will take 12 hours to complete, so something to keep in mind. And I guess my PR basically tells me that I haven't spent any gold on this guy. At least not on this account. On my two other accounts, mind you, both cars have I've won them in the last year, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna put any more upgrades on this car to get the 100% completion of this limited time series, because I don't know. We'll see. So, but anyway, as you can see here, PR 90, we can confirm the final cup at Porsche Test Track. So, let's check out the upgrades as I said, you're gonna have to get all 5 upgrades on engine, and the remaining 6 categories you're gonna need 3 upgrades, so 1 gold upgrade each tier. Now, the tier 1 upgrades racing dollars total is 770,500 racing dollars, and as I said, they take 12 hours. And since the base PR was 79.2 and we're up to 82.5, you get the PR boost of 3.3. Right. And let's move on here. Yes, tier 2 upgrades. Tier 2 upgrades. Let's talk about tier 2 upgrades here. I did something on my computer and I was like, what did I just do? Oh, I deleted a whole bunch of stuff on my screen. So I had to undo that real quick. Anyway, tier 2, as often it used to be now the case, tier 2 upgrades are going to be all gold. The total upgrade gold is going to cost 375 gold here, which is how we won the car last time around. So let's get these tier 2 upgrades here. All right. Exhaust, brakes, and tires and wheels. Right, so that is a total of 375 gold, and that brings the PR up to 85.8. So that is another 3.3 PR point boost. And then let's get the tier 3 racing dollar upgrade, which will take a whole day here, and the cost here is going to be 1,733,700. Yes. As I said, I'll have the information in the description box below, so feel free to check that out. Come on, you can do it. Body, suspension, exhaust, brakes, and tires and wheels. And once you get them all done, it will bring your PR up to 89 even. Right, so that is 3.2 PR point boost. And let's check out, as I was saying, so we need a whole 1 more PR point boost here. So your options are either engine or body, because the others are all gold upgrades that's left here. Obviously brakes and tires and wheels, they are maxed out, so there's no option there. But like categories that has 1 more upgrade left, like exhaust, suspension, and drivetrain, they're going to be all dead end gold upgrades, and they're not cheap. None of them are cheap, but it's final tier upgrade. So the thing about engine and body, the getting gold upgrades in those categories unlock the last tier racing dollar upgrades. So we all know racing dollars are much easier to earn than gold, so those are the category that you should be looking at here. Like suspension, 125 gold, and that's it. You cannot meet the PR requirement. And same for exhaust. Yeah, suspension and exhaust almost always cost about the same. So if you look at engine, it does cost 145 gold, and you get 0.5 PR point boost. And then the last tier 5 upgrade will give you that remaining 0.5 PR point boost with some 672,400 racing dollars and 2-day wait period on that one. And the body, as you can see, 110 gold, so it is cheaper. But the important thing that you got to be looking at is the PR boost is not quite there. We don't quite reach 89.4 here, so it's 0.1 shy, and the last racing dollar upgrade doesn't actually make up for it. So you're gonna come short on that one, which means you're gonna have to get another gold upgrade. So the cheapest way to go is to go with the engine, and then yeah, 672,400, and it's gonna take 2 days. Whoa, that's not what I meant to do. Let's use a gold, that's fine. So old habits, you just tap on the advertisement screen. Anyway, so that's how you get your PR up to 90. And I mean, these car stats we've taken for granted, having top speed up 356 kph. This year's 2020 GTE cars top speed, I think, is a good 100 kph short. 100 kph at Le Mans, that makes a huge difference. And this car grip is up to 1.97 G. I think this new year, the 2020 GTE grip is more like 1.6. Obviously, when your top speed is lowered by 100 kph, I don't think you need a nearly 2 G of grip, right? So yeah, and the acceleration time, I believe, is once again, you know, significantly quicker on these last year's cars. So I don't know what's going on, but if you really want to have some fun with the GTE, I say this year's car is not the ones to pick out. Go with these last year's cars. They are by far the best ones. Anyway, so once again, to sum it up, that is the total of 520 gold spent and 3,176,600 racing dollars spent to bring the PR up to 90. And then let's see what else we got here. 3 days and 12 hours. Right. Okay, so let's now take a series itself and see if we notice any troublemaker, possibly. Tier 1, there shouldn't be any. I mean, your car's fully serviced, and you might be lacking some upgrades, but that's okay. Should be pretty doable. And if you want to run through this series without having to constantly service the car, then my recommendation is to not win by a very large margin. Still win, but you know, don't like lap your opponent. Keep them slow, so that way, even when your car is in critical condition, if you have sufficient amount of upgrades to get through the PR requirement, you should be able to complete this series without needing to service maybe once or twice at the most. Because otherwise, if you are kind of not doing what we call bot training, you will have to service your car like every 2 tiers or so, and that is like, you know, 7 times that you're gonna have to service the car, which is 7 more times that than I want to do it. So yeah, just wait for your opponents at the finish line. I don't care how you do it. Do donuts, you know, finish backwards. Constantly crash and pit your opponents as you race. Make it entertaining. However you want to do it, doesn't really matter. But keep that margin of victory close. Otherwise, you know, you can once you get to like something like elimination, just lose constantly. Just don't bother racing. Just stop. Just start the race and just get eliminated in first 20 seconds. Then each time you lose, the bots will slow down. And if you do it enough times, you're gonna get some ridiculously slow bots. One way you can find out is when you have an endurance race. your target distance will be 1.7 kilometers. Yes, that's even for running, that's not really much of an endurance race, is it? Let alone with the GTE cars. So that I say, if you have patience to do that, I approve and hail your strategy. Anyway, let's take a look. Back to the series itself. Tier 1, we got Speed Snap at Kota Grand Prix. And that happens, let's see. Right before the last two corners is where the checkpoint for that speed snap is. We know that from doing a lot of Formula One speed snaps there. So that's that. And then we got head-to-head at Nürburgring Mühlenbachschleife. That's a very short circuit, just a single lap, as you might expect. And we got Cup at the Brickyard Road Course, 2 laps, Tier 1, does not have PR requirement. Alright, so Tier 2, we got Elimination at Mazda Raceway. Speaking of elimination, Endurance at Dubai National. And the Cup is going to be at Formula E Berlin Tempelhof Airport. 2 laps, that's a short one, but it does have a PR 81.2. So obviously you're going to need at least some of those Tier 1 racing dollar upgrades done to get through this tier. Alright, moving on. Tier 3. Good chance that your car might be in critical condition by the time you reach Tier 3. We got speed record at the Porsche Test Track, short on-road circuit. Let's see, I guess the main pit lane is probably going to be the main pit straight right before you climb up the hill. It's going to be typically the longest straight, or would it be on the other side? Oh, it might be on the other side after you come through the Mobile 1 curve. So, all right, we'll see. Speed record there, though. Typically, you don't need to service the car. And then we got Hunter at Spa, so that's a full lap. That'll definitely put your car in red if it wasn't. And then Cup for Tier 3 is going to be at Brands Hatch. PR 82.2 is required. It's going to be 4-lapper. With these cars, that's going to be a breeze. And then Tier 4, the 25% completion tier. Autocross at Catalunya Grand Prix. And the drag race at Monza, the drag race. And the Cup is going to be at Bugatti Circuit. 2 laps, PR 83 is required. So that is obviously higher PR than what you can do with racing dollar upgrades alone. So, and we know no upgrade, no gold upgrade is, as cheap as a 25% completion reward of 8 gold. So if you're basically in this event, you're in it to go 100% to win the car, or if you don't have the car, or if you already have the car, then the chances are you probably have high enough PR to at least complete 75% completion. So that's that. And Tier 4, I think you should be able to complete the drag race without servicing. Even with a completely randomized launch time, I think it's doable. Alright, moving on. Tier 5, we got head-to-head at Daytona Motorcycle Course. Most likely a single lap, yep. And it's going to be also a rolling start. And then speed record at Suzuka East. And if you have trouble with that one, you can always turn around at the beginning to extend the longest straight, which is the main pit straight, to extend beyond the finish line to reach higher speed if needed. And then Cup for Tier 5 at Mount Panorama. 2 laps, PR 83.7 is required. Moving on, Tier 6, we got Elimination at Melbourne this time. And Endurance is Silverstone International. So if you are properly training your bots, each iteration of endurance race should have a shorter and shorter target distance to hit. That's one way you can tell how you're doing with the bot training, if that's the way you want to play. And then Tier 6 Cup is going to be at Hockenheim National. 3 laps, PR 84.3 is required. Moving on, Tier 7, we got Autocross at Red Bull Ring National Circuit. And Hunter at Dubai. And Dubai International, that is. So it's kind of the longer one of the circuit variations. I think it's the second longest after the Grand Prix. And then the Cup for Tier 7 is going to be at Circuit of the Americas National Circuit. 3 laps, PR 85 is required. And Tier 8, the 50% completion tier for another 18 gold, right? We got head-to-head at Mount Panorama, single lap, speed snap at Daytona road course. I want to say these events at Daytona can be a little troublesome unserviced. So I'm a little hesitant to say you're going to be able to get through Tier 8 here without servicing the car. Like in critical condition, this might be potentially either you have to lose multiple instances to bot train and bring the target down, or might need to service. Sometimes it's just quicker to get it done with a service, depending on how often your ads show up. Because on where I am, sometimes they show up like right back to back, and other times it takes like 5 minutes in between. So, I don't know. It depends. Anyway, the Tier 8 Cup is at Monza Junior Course. 5 laps, PR 85.6 is required. Moving on, Tier 9, we got Endurance at Catalunya Club. Autocross at Suzuka Grand Prix, and the Cup at Silverstone National. 5 laps, and PR 86.2 is required. So we're having some shorter circuits with a high lap count here, which is always lots of fun when we have those. I really like that format. Short circuit with high lap counts, because you do a lot of overlapping sometimes. Anyway, Tier 10, we got Drag Race. It's gonna be at the Brickyard Road Course, but it's a drag race, so I still don't think the venue makes much difference. Certain events, I don't think they make much difference. Elimination, however, sometimes can be impossible if you're running unserviced. Say, this one's going to be at Hockenheim Grand Prix, so the first corner shows up early enough that you should be able to do this even when you're unserviced, depending on how well you trained your bots, of course. But places like Dubai Grand Prix, for example, or Dubai National even, the first corner is far enough away that, although with this car it's pretty quick, you might be able to survive the first elimination. Because you can sprint down to the first corner within first 20 seconds, but some slower cars have difficulty getting there. And down the straight, no matter how much you bot train, they're gonna, just like pass you by without any issues, even when you bot train super hard. It's just the corners, they, crawl. All right, so Tier 10 Cup is going to be at Porsche Test Track Dynamic Circuit. 4 laps with the PR 86.8 required. Alright, so that's another very short technical circuit. Gets us to tier 11. We got speed record at Red Bull Ring National Circuit. Alright. And then speed snap at Nürburgring Grand Prix. Is that gonna be a troublemaker? Potentially. Yeah, Nürburgring events always make me a little nervous. I don't know what it is. And then the cup is gonna be at the 24-hour circuit. Just a single lap. PR 87.4 is required. And moving on, the 75% completion tier, tier 12. We got Autocross at Melbourne. And Hunter at Berlin. And the cup at Daytona Road Course. 3 laps, PR 88 is required. And it's going to be a rolling start. Alright, so of course 75% completion is 25 gold extra added there. And yes, so actually you don't need to complete tier 12 to claim the 75% completion. Actually you only need to get 1 gold trophy. So as you can see, upon completing tier 11 with a PR 87.4, you can claim that 75% completion. And the reason why I mentioned that, of course, is if you already have this car in the garage, you may just stop after, winning 75% completion if you don't want to upgrade your car any further and spend another some 145 gold to pick up extra 34 gold. So that is, 34 gold discount on 145 gold cost for upgrade. That is what? About 1/5, right? A little bit higher than 1/5, so a little bit over 20% discount. So I don't know. Is it worth it? I'm not sure. Typically, when we get the upgrade discount, they're 30%. And 34 gold is definitely not. It's slightly under 30%. So if you want to wait for, upgrade discount on this car, you might save a few gold there if you already have the car in the garage. So there's another resource management tip there. Anyway, moving on, tier 14, we got speed snap at Mazda Raceway, Autocross at Mount Panorama, and the cup at Hockenheim Grand Prix. 4 laps. Ooh, that's a long one. PR 89.3 is required. Alright, so that's a high lap count, a Grand Prix circuit. Alright, so tier 15, we got another drag race at Red Bull Ring. And that's going to be a Grand Prix circuit drag race. Right, that's where we always have it. And then we got endurance at Suzuka West. And the final cup is at Porsche Test Track Long on-road circuit. 5 laps with a PR 90 required, as we talked about it earlier in the video. So anyway, that would do it for this video. So as I said, this event will expire on the 5th of July for those of you guys on the Eastern Hemisphere. If you're on the western side of this globe, it'll be 4th of July. So check your calendar, plan accordingly, and this car and the Ferrari, let me tell you, it's gonna be a lot more fun. In fact, I know they are a lot more fun than this year's GTE cars. So yeah, I'd much rather recommend winning these cars and racing these versus those new ones. Anyway, I think I've said enough here, so good luck. Hopefully you guys found the information useful. As always, click that like button, subscribe, you know what to do. Alright, have fun, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.